Hey, this is ThinkerThunker. So which is crazier? Believing that there are humans who can just magically shrink and grow and distort their bodies in ways not even humanly possible? Or believing in Bigfoot? And I hate to tell some of you this, but it's either one or the other, unless you are just so completely oblivious. So stick around and I'll show you what I found. Would you say the red lines line up with the green lines? It's not even close, is it? I mean, there would have to be something really wrong with you to think the two lined up. Yet, 2/3 of America would look at this and say, oh yeah, it lines up close enough for them. Or, it's just all too fuzzy and blurry and it has to be perfect quality before they'll even bother looking at it. But for the rest of you, if you look at this for just a second, you're smart enough to get what I'm trying to say here with alignment and with body ratios. So let's start with Bob first. Now Bob is fuzzy and blurry, but I can make out his shoulders and his elbow and his wrist and his knee. And in case you don't know, Bob is the man who claimed it was he wearing the female monkey suit in the Patterson Gimlin film. And you can see Bob's red team member lines up perfectly on the shoulder. And if their arms were being held the same, their elbows would line up. And we can see their wrists line up and their knees line up. So your next question might be, what in the world is Shaquille O'Neal doing here? Well, Shaquille is a giant to most people, so I needed someone like him to illustrate that even someone that large, once they're scaled down to Bob's size, and by the way, I've done that with everybody for comparison's sake, scaled them all to the same size, but once I scaled Shaq down, he and Bob share the exact same body ratios. So it doesn't matter what your nationality is, or what your heritage is, or male or female. Doesn't matter, we humans share the same body ratios, plus or minus small degrees. Okay, so now let's look at the green team alignment. You can see the 4 major joints here: shoulder, elbow, wrist, and knee. And you can look through here for yourselves and see how they all line up. And then you can compare those to the red team and see that they are inches. I mean, it's a complete fail on lineup, apart from ankles. So, skeptics, the burden of proof is now on you guys. I mean, this is real. Body ratios are real. They can't be faked. And so you're going to have to address this, because body ratios are going to shut down every single argument you have. You're going to have to do some videos and explain to us how Bob or how any human's knee is going to slide down inches just because they're wearing a monkey suit, or how their hips slide down to line up, or how their elbows slide down to line up. Or how they, like Bob here, how did Bob cram his shoulders down into where his lungs would be just because he was wearing this monkey suit here? I mean, it's ridiculous to believe that. So let's hear it, show us, don't tell us. So now you're probably wondering why I threw a Neanderthal into the mix here, when science assures us that these guys only grew to about 5 foot high, and that their DNA is only about 0.12% different from ours. And I would remind you that scientists are still just humans, and we humans make mistakes, whether we'll admit them or not. So it's kind of, who are you going to believe? Science or your lying eyes? Because, look, it lines up on all 4 major joints. So am I saying that Bigfoot is Neanderthal? No, I can't, because I can't prove that. But if the shoe or the skeleton fits, wear it. There's at least something to this. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with a clip, and what we're going to see would be impossible to do with a prosthetic arm or an arm extension. So this was filmed in Provo, Utah, and the guy there, here we go, he's going to stand up and he launches a rock, a big rock. And if you watch the original, you'll hear it tink, it'll hit some big metal something. So he's a good shot, but watch the wind up. He comes way back there and lets that thing fly. And that would be impossible to do with an arm extension or prosthetic arm. But let's say I'm wrong. Let's say it is some state-of-the-art, extremely rare, extremely expensive arm. Why would they be risking damaging something like that out here on some fuzzy, blurry little hoax? That just doesn't make any sense. But here is the interesting part to this. Look at that arm. You don't even have to measure this to know that arm is almost as long as these legs. So whoever this guy is, whatever, he definitely fits in the green team. His arms are almost as long as his legs, right in there with Patty and the rest. And again, he's doing something that I believe is impossible to do with an arm extension. So that's all I've got. Weigh in, let me know what you think. And please, if you like me doing these videos, subscribe, like if you like them, comment, and share with your friends. That's my payment for doing these. And a new update YouTube has installed. If you want to, you can tip me $1 or $2 or buy me a cup of coffee, however you want to think about it, by clicking on my name, ThinkerThunker, going to my channel page, and on the far right, you'll see a blue support button. So I would sure appreciate that. So there you go, guys. Take care.